Girl, the way hair grease is making a comeback needs to be studied. Now, I don't know the statistics, but if you study the stock market, hair grease stocks is all the way up. And you know who I blame for this? African hair god. You've been carrying hair grease on your bare back, sir, since 1992. So I feel like we need to gossip a little bit because so many of you guys are in my comments talking about hair grease is where it's at. And as you know, a lot of us went and trying to act bougie and brand new. We drop oils and...
It's not a trend, it's basic hair care.
You know, every time I say it, I can't say it with a straight face. Because then when you think about it, it really makes no sense. But we were convinced that it makes perfect sense to drop oils and butters in our natural hair and use gels. I know. People will make fun of me. And at the end of the day, I feel like I can't even really I can't be too offended because when I say it out loud, it really makes no sense. But it made sense at the time, okay? It was really sold to us in a particular way where
oils and water do not mix. You don't need oils. You don't need all that extra stuff in your natural hair routine.
But as it turns out now, we feel a little differently. At the very least, okay, let me be serious. I still want to believe that there is something to that method of dropping oils and butters. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, girl, you just walked into a room where a meeting has been going on for 72 hours. It's a lot to catch up. But I want to believe that there's something there. The method just hasn't been perfected and it was sold to people a little bit too prematurely. Now we're discovering, or rather we're finding out what happens when you starve your hair from any type of oils and butters. Now with grease, if you've been using grease for a long time, I feel like a lot of us grew up using grease in our hair. I grew up using grease. At the same time, looking back, I feel like we're using it a little bit incorrectly, but just the thought of going back to grease almost feels illegal. Some of the conversations that I'm having with you guys in my DMs where you're recommending grease very strongly too, like, Jen, come on now, just use grease in your hair. I feel like we're part of the Underground Railroad at this point. Just don't tell nobody, but use grease. And I'll tell you why someone would want to use grease, especially after the no oil and butters left us a little confused, okay? Because some of us really believe that this was the way. And someone like me, I've tried it for 3 years. I really stuck it through. You know, at the beginning, a lot of people were telling me, you gotta do this for a while to see results. And I feel like I've done it for a while. And I feel like my hair is missing a little something. Now, is it grease? I don't know. Like I said, it feels illegal saying that out loud. It's like going back to the 90s. What? But let me tell you why you would want to use grease. Grease is technically a very thick oil. It's classified as an emollient. Some of the stylists or cosmetic chemists will say that it's part of the greater category of occlusive. And what does that mean? It basically means that it's very good at locking in moisture. But it also prevents moisture from escaping our skin and hair. When you think about how we use Vaseline, for example, on our skin, I also like to argue I've been using Vaseline my entire life. I have a big old tub for my baby. I'm not reinventing the wheel there, but I felt like I needed to drop oils and butters. I don't know. It's also great at softening your hair, making it a little bit more manageable, gives you some great shine. I mean, if you think back on your childhood, I'm pretty sure most of us grew up using grease. I grew up using the Blue Magic, the coconut one. Oh, that was mine. That was my thing. I love the smell. Once I found the coconut Blue Magic, my hair was flourishing. And you know what? I have to dig pictures. I have to go to Facebook or something to find some pictures to show you because my hair was looking real good. And I was using too much of it at the time. Now that I'm looking into this a little bit more and learning a little bit more. You're not supposed to use a lot, but back then I was slathering it all over my hair and scalp, girl. You couldn't tell me nothing. One thing that I don't believe that grease does though is grow your hair. We like to throw these words out, not fully understanding what's actually happening. Grease isn't going to grow your hair. There's nothing in grease that is scientifically proven, at the very least, to grow your hair. Now, because it's going to lock in moisture and keep your hair nice and soft and manageable, you're going to retain more length, that's true, but it's not going to grow your hair. And you know what? I feel like there's not a lot of things on this earth that grows hair the way that we claim it does. Because if it was true, we would all have hair down our backs. And it'd be the same people that have been using the same things for like a decade talking about, oh,
this growth oil grew my hair.
But it's still at shoulder length. I don't know, I just don't see no proof. So it's hard for me to believe. But the real question that I have now is, I thought we stopped using grease because of our scalp, because of, the itchiness, the dandruff, the flakiness, particularly me. Granted, again, I feel like when we're using a lot of it, little caveat. I feel like I have to give you this disclaimer every single time. So I don't know the long-term result of using just a little bit of grease to seal your ends, a little bit of grease on your scalp. But I don't know. Going back to grease really just makes me feel like I'm about to commit a crime. Lock me up. But the amount of people that are in my comments saying that grease is amazing and they've been using it forever and they never stopped, or people that have, done what I've done, transition out of grease to oils and butters, out of oils and butters, and then finding out what happens. So now trying to go back or coming up with a new regimen, because at this point, that's where I am. I feel like I'm figuring out what I want to do with my hair moving forward. And I'm very tempted. Y'all leaving me a lot of positive reviews when it comes to grease. And I'm pretty sure under this video, someone's gonna be like, it's the holy grail. You need to try this one. And you know what? I'm particularly tempted to try grease because I'm in my protective style era. As you know, girl, look at my hair. Did I show you the hair? Look at it. My hair looks absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's giving me jet. It's giving me natural hair love, and I love that for me. But anyways, I'm in my protective style era, so I'm doing more protective styling. And this is just my hair. There's no added hair, but still, I would like to see how it works incorporating grease with protective styles, particularly when I'm wearing extensions, because I feel like it'll condition my hair, it'll keep it moisturized for longer, based on what everyone is saying, right? It's the holy grail, right? Right. I'm so tempted. Not gonna lie, I may try it. If I can drop oils and butters, I think I can go back to grease. So yeah, it really feels like grease is making a comeback. And if you're one of those people who never dropped oils and butters and always been using your grease, you can delete that long comment, sis. We don't need, what happened? What's going on? You can delete that very long paragraph. You don't need to try to make the rest of us feel bad for dropping grease. And
why would you ever even do that? It made no sense.
It made a lot of sense. Okay, the way it was sold to us left a lot to be desired. We're just like, oh my God, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Maybe my hair is going to be more hydrated for longer and more moisturized for longer. And once you first started the method, once you got over that first initial hump, the mental hump of, you know what am I doing? Our hair felt great. A lot of people will tell you our hair felt amazing not using oils and butters at first. And I think it's because the integrity of our hair wasn't compromised. And then over time, the more you keep stripping away at your hair, then it became a little bit more difficult to retain moisture. That's been at least my experience. And it happened slowly for me over the years because I was very careful in terms of paying attention with my hair. How's it feeling? What's going on? I felt like people were starting to get a lot of damage. So I started incorporating formulated butters, and I feel like that really carried me for a little while. But now, especially after seeing my stylist the last time and seeing my hair changing colors, I just feel like at this point, I just don't know. I don't know what else I need. What proof do I need that my hair needs a little bit more support and a little bit more moisture? What I've been doing lately really is just I haven't used raw oils yet, like not a lot at least. I've used like a serum type oil, and I use a lot of formulated butters, and I've been moisturizing my hair more often, honestly. Just when I get in the shower, I do the same thing that I used to do way back in the day, which is spritzing my hair with some water or letting the humidity and the steam get to my hair, adding a little bit of water, and then when I get out, I'll use a little bit of butter or like a little leave-in conditioner or something to just get my hair a little bit more moisturized. But if I was using grease, does that mean I wouldn't even have to do any of that? I wonder. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. How do you feel about grease? How do you feel about going back to grease? Going back to grease almost feels like we're traveling back in time, that is. And yeah, we're still out here, I feel, figuring out our natural hair together. And it's very nostalgic, I think, because that's how my channel started, really like playing in my hair, figuring things out, finding out what I like, what I don't like, sharing what I like, what I don't like. Evidently, it really feels like that's exactly what the stylists are doing. Jennifer, did you say that out loud? Are they the new influencers? No way! Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.